What's up, guys? This is Joel of Punishers Paintball. Today we have Coach Matt with us. Matt has been in the sport for a very long period of time, and we are going to discuss with you guys the difference between old school gear, new school gear, and if you've been out of the sport for a long time, this is going to be a quick refresher for you guys to figure everything out. So if you guys like this video, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all social media platforms. Shop at punisherpb.com, and we'll see you after the intro. Alrighty, guys, so here we are. We have a bunch of different gear displayed in front of us, and basically, Matt, this was your idea about, we've been getting a lot of questions regarding, in the comments section below, and I have a lot of customers that come into the store as well, so it's kind of funny because you read my mind, that basically have been out of the sport for a long time and want for us to explain the difference between the old school gear and the new school gear, and if there's any similarities and what are all the differences. So Matt, I'll let you kind of introduce yourself and we can start talking.
Sure, well thanks for having me, Joel.
Yeah.
I've been playing paintball for about 20 years, and the good news is it's still as fun as it was on your first day playing. And some of the gear has changed, so it might seem a little overwhelming if you're just getting back into the sport. You're not sure if the gear you have sitting in your closet is still good enough to be used. So we're going to try to clear up those questions. We're going to go through goggles, loaders, guns, tanks, soft goods, anything, you name it, we're going to go through it and go over the differences. The most important piece of paintball equipment, in my mind, is your mask. This is what will keep you safe, and it also is what gives you the most vision on the field. Now, what I have in my hands is probably familiar to you if you've played within the past 30 years. It's the JT Proflex. This is probably the most iconic paintball mask.
Yeah.
This has been worn. JT was originally a motocross company, and they switched over to start producing paintball safety equipment such as this. And it's very customizable. A lot of people have JT Proflexes. But the big difference you might notice with masks today as opposed to about 10-15 years ago is chin straps are now required. So a lot of people back in the day would cut their chin straps off. That's something to consider if you're getting back into the sport after a long break. The JT Proflex is still being sold, which means you can still get new lenses for it. Other popular masks from back in the day were the Empire E-Vents and the V-Force Profilers. And good news for profiler wearers, they do still make lenses, and they now make thermal lenses in a variety of different colors. There's also some new goggles on the market, Joel, if you want to go through some of the new options players have today.
Yeah, for sure. So you had mentioned E-Vents, which I think is kind of interesting because the Eflex is basically the new variation from the E-Vents mask. So the top portion features like a quick change lens there, and the difference is, so with the Proflex you kind of have to yank off the rubber, and that was everybody's biggest complaint with the Proflex, still is, right?
It's tough between between games. If your goggles get shot up really bad and you want to get a lens change, it's tough to have to pry it apart. Same with some of the older dye masks, such as the dye Envision. You really just have to grip and just rip each little part off, but this quick change lens system is very common in a variety of the new masks.
Yeah, for sure. So the Eflex came out quite a few years ago, but it is still available for purchase, and what they did was they combined the quick change lens of the E-Vents on the top, but then they added the Proflex portion on the bottom. As you can see, it's a little bit different. Eflex is a little bit more contoured compared to the Proflex, but overall this is a interesting mask that honestly not a lot of people kind of like. I feel it's overcited nowadays.
I think so. And another big thing is if you were a JT Proflex wearer, you probably got shot in the ear, and it probably hurt really bad. These newer versions of the Proflex,
true, good point.
They're definitely much nicer ears. Back in the day, you used to have one ear flipped up like this, one down like that. These are a lot nicer. No more Dumbo ears with the JT. They've really made a lot of big improvements, especially with the new version. Like Joel said, they're just a lot more comfortable, and it gives you the best of both worlds. You can change your lens quickly and still have that nice, familiar feel of the JT Proflex.
Yeah, so I would say, the biggest thing is like being able to change your lenses a little bit quicker is probably the main thing. There's differences in breathability and such. You've got other masks such as the Push Unite. The Push Unite mask offers a nose bridge, adjustable nose bridge. So when you put the mask on, you can actually adjust the portion that lies right here. If you've got a larger nose, you can bring it out, and if you've got a smaller nose, you can bring it, or a smaller head, you can bring it closer to your nose. So the Push Unite is probably one of the newest masks out on the market, and it's definitely a high-end mask. The other thing that I'd like to mention when it comes to masks is that almost everything now is thermal pain, which is really nice. You can get all kinds of affordable masks between the HK Army Hostile goggle system as well as the Empire Helix goggle system are offered in a thermal lens. So the single pane, I remember going to the field as a younger player, right? Like the first few times I played back in, oh man, I don't know exactly when it was, but it was probably 2004, 2005. And you're fogging up, right?
You can't see anything. You get shot at, tripping over twigs and branches.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So nowadays, almost all the masks are thermal pane for good reason. You can still purchase single pane. It's not something that we suggest, but you can still get them for next to nothing, like $25 for the V-Force armor. But for $40 to $50, it's become actually more affordable in my personal opinion. And the Proflex as well as the Eflex are going to both be under $100 retail, which is really nice.
And just to speak on lenses a little more, I remember I used to rock the V-Force grills, and the lenses would scratch really easily on those. Over the past few years, the V-Force lenses have definitely become a lot more scratch resistant. Mm-hmm. So it'll give you that good performance on the speedball field and in the woods ball field. So it's good for both types of styles of play.
Yep. And lenses have definitely gotten more expensive. So that's when you're talking V-Force lenses, they're $60 to $65, and then a lot of the other companies are around $50 for a replacement lens nowadays. So it's kind of wild, but just sign of the times, unfortunately. So.